Taming the Demon by Obscura. Chapter 26 to Game Over. Arrival back to the clubhouse found the brat and the monkey eavesdropping on Doboroku teaching Yukimitsu his own personal use. Need a new nickname, he's not bald anymore. The blonde sprayed them both with barbecue sauce and let Saburus get to town. Doboroku questioned his decision, but it was for the best. He needed all his players focused on their own specific roles, which they did, pulling out all the stops during practice. Even Demon could be seen pushing his shared body to its limits. Then Garita disappeared. Again. Hiruma pulled out the flamethrower. Fat ass was never hiding in the vaulting doors again. Old man seemed impressed that Hanazaki had already prepared a fire extinguisher before Musashi told him to leave it. Karita would learn to man up on his own, but for now, well, Shinryuji was special. Of course, then the kids all wanted to know what the big deal about Shinryuji and the fat ass was, and as usual, the old man had no qualms about telling them everything. Everything! About the original plan to attend Shinryuji. About the sports merit program. About Agon. The look in Demon's eyes was calling for Agon's blood on the ground, and the blonde almost worried. Worried for what would happen to Sena if he went after Agon, to his body if he lost, and his sanity if he won. Because Sena could win. He would win. But it was okay. Because after Masashi finished the story, Kurita came out of the clubhouse with a determined look on his face and dressed one of the tackle dummies in a Shinryuji uniform. He then tackled the dummy so hard the uniform shredded to bits, and the kids couldn't help but cheer. Rage, anger, hurt, it would all be put to good use in the upcoming match. The day before the match, the blonde found that the brunette's intuition was amazing. Hiruma knew roughly when the Shinryuji Naga would go over their battle plans for Demon's individual players. He was even 80% sure that Agon would show up. Maybe not actually participate, but he'd be there. But Sena knew none of that, and he still got shivers shooting up and down his spine right around the time that Hiruma predicted Agon to see Sena's face on the school's waterfall projector. The boy brushed off the worry of his friends. Where did Hanazaki pull all that cold medication from? And when the blonde texted him later that night about his fears, he got a digital chuckle in return, saying that Suzuna asked about the same thing, not 2 minutes earlier. Apparently, Suzuna also suggested giving a good luck kiss and getting one in return. The more that girl hung around, the more Hiruma liked her. Game day dawned beautifully, and the stadium was packed. More importantly, and miraculously, was that Agon was early. Of course, the dreads had to show off and change right there at the bench, revealing muscles upon muscles and a large dragon tattoo across his back. And now, Demon wants a go at the dreads. At least the display hadn't intimidated original Sena. Speaking of individual rivalries, Ikkyu had come over to the Damon bench, probably to get a close-up look at Hanazaki. Of course, wherever the manager went, the monkey went panting after her, and bam! The receiver and the cornerback made contact. Just as they were getting serious with each other, Yamabushi came over and dragged his underclassman back over to his own bench, berating him for getting to see the girls for slacking. Brats were so busy focusing on the enemy, they forgot why they came to the field. Oh well, Hiruma would remind them. Damon did not come to defeat Shinryuji. They came to kill Shinryuji. Yaha! With the Nagas kick off, the game began, and because of the monkey's catching ability, it started with Damon's ball. And the Manta EQ rivalry at the forefront. As is typical of a natural genius, EQ was incredibly reluctant to recognize Manta as anything other than an arrogant wannabe. To be fair, on the first play, the cornerback more or less destroyed the monkey and was less than impressed with the fight that the receiver had put up. The second play resulted in Shinryuji's interception. The teams then set up for Shinryuji's offense so that Sena was marking Agon and Manta was on EQ. The problem was, while Sena did what he was supposed to and rushed to bump Agon, it would take Demon and all his rage-induced ferocity to effectively stop the dreads. Hiruma, playing safety, ran to meet Agon after he caught his pass. The blonde predicted and took the first chop and proceeded to entwine his arms around his nemesis' leg, only to have said nemesis brutally smash his blonde head into the ground. Agon scored a touchdown. However, there was another point to the blonde attempting to stop the dreadhead. To taunt him, bait him into playing both offense and defense, even on the kick team, if possible. If they let that monster rest, there was no way they would win. Agon graciously rose to that taunt and proceeded to cut Sena down once again with an arm chop, and Hiruma knew it was only going to get worse. Sure enough, Shinryuji's next offense set up as the unstoppable Dragonfly. 3 plays later, both Sena and Monza had that "holy crap, this is why they're the strongest" look on their faces, and Kirito was ready to burst into tears. Dread's commentary was not helping, so get your ass back to your own bench. Instead of saying such, Hiruma took the opportunity to taunt Agon some more, which did in fact result in his playing the kick team. Of course, Agon made a point of telling the blonde that he knew exactly what the quarterback was up to, but said quarterback already figured he did, so it didn't bother him. The teams set up for the next play. It was Shinryuji's kickoff again, but instead of kicking to the side opposite for My Shield 21, in their usual by-the-book style, the ball sailed straight into the brunette's arms. But this was no miskick, as was obvious by the smirk on Agon's face as he rushed to meet the small running back. The small player accepted the challenge, using everything in his repertoire to slip through Agon's fingers, and twice at that! Only for the dreadhead to chop the ball out of Sena's arms. The idiot Taki managed to break away and grab the ball, but was tackled in Damon's end zone, resulting in a safety and another 2 points for Shinryuji. He looked upset about it, but was swiftly told that a safety for the Nagas beat another touchdown for the Nagas. Unfortunately, it only went downhill from there. The line had developed a way to counter Kurita's strength. Iki was blocking the monkey at every turn. Even when Diamond switched to land tactics with the wishbone, Agon stopped them cold. The Devil Bats were beginning to realize why Shinryuji had gone to the Christmas Bowl for 9 years running. The score had widened to 32-0 for the Nagas by halftime, and the team was starting to lose hope. Until, for the first time ever, someone other than Hiruma noticed Demon.